When it comes to YouTube videos about the perfect jobs for autistic people, there are always lists of specific occupations. And while those videos might be interesting to watch, they won't help you as an autistic person find your perfect job. Maybe you're like me, and after watching one of those videos thought, man, I'd be miserable at every one of those jobs. That's because those types of videos don't take into consideration the vast uniqueness of autistic adults' needs and preferences. So in this video, don't expect a list of jobs, because that's not good enough. Instead, you'll get something much more useful, a list of 5 essential characteristics that will help you as an autistic person figure out the perfect job for you. 1. Flexibility, because energy levels are a roller coaster. Some days, you're deep in hyper-focus mode, knocking out tasks like a machine. You're like half demigod, half superhero, and half machine, which mathematically makes absolutely no sense. But other days, 90% of your energy goes into existing, breathing, and not hurling the mini fridge in the break room out the window because of the horrible hissing sounds it makes that apparently no one else on the planet can hear. That's when you're questioning why humans decided to work 5 days a week, every week, for the majority of their lives. I mean, really? I guess that's a topic for another conversation, but it's also why a certain level of flexibility matters, especially when you're autistic. Your energy levels fluctuate, and it's not like you can always predict these changes too. So having a schedule that allows for energy fluctuations can be a game changer. Jobs with remote work options, project-based deadlines, or mental health days can mean the difference between thriving and barfing up your insides on the way to work. And I'm not saying you can't necessarily work full-time. Just because you're autistic doesn't mean you can't or don't want to work. But seriously, throw in a little autistic inertia and the desire to finish things, add in some monotropic hyperfocus, and then put me in a good environment where I can work, I'll usually finish more work in a week than a lot of other people do in a month. But can I do that every single day? Nope. It fluctuates. And then when I'm not sleeping well, and then I have a bunch of meetings, and the sensory overload feels like a tornado being rammed right up the old poop chute, it really puts things into perspective. Nothing like a tornado dancing in or around your butt crack to highlight the importance of flexibility in the workplace. So when jobs expect peak performance every single day, we can do that often. But many autistic people, myself included, will also hit walls at times, especially with other workplace challenges that I'll talk about more in a minute. So jobs that stress doing it all full steam ahead all the time, that's something to make you say, whoa there, buddy. How about we pull back on the reins there a little bit? I mean, how are we really judging our work here? Because even non-autistic people aren't doing that consistently. Their energy changes, but they're just better at being consistent. Whereas high-masking autistic people, especially the 50 to 70% that also have co-occurring ADHD, we go all out. Long hours, super focused, high energy, don't stop till it's finished. And then we crash. And you would too if you had a natural disaster wreaking havoc in your gum stump. So this is why some autistic people thrive in freelancing, self-employment, or roles with asynchronous work, where it's about what you get done, not when you do it. 2. The environment, sensory nightmares, and workplace drama. Let's talk about the actual workplace, because the wrong environment can make a job unbearable, frightening, and diarrhea-inducing, even if you love the work itself. Sensory issues are a huge factor. Are you walking into fluorescent lighting hell? Are there loud open offices where someone is always eating tuna? Is the break room a sensory nightmare with stale smells, random clutter, and small talk landmines? And yes, people are a big factor. Office culture matters. Is this the place where coworkers respect boundaries? Or is it a drama factory where you'll have to spend half your energy navigating office politics? Are people chronically loud talkers? Or is there actually a quiet place to recharge? Even things like commute length, access to nature, or the option to work outside can make a huge difference in how sustainable a job feels. Because who wants to take a break in a place that's even more overwhelming than the spot you're taking a break from? And who can work in a spot where your stomach is churning all the time? Because how can you focus with all this happening around you? It's like trying to work on your computer in the middle of a Christopher Nolan movie premiere at the IMAX. Not gonna happen. So trust your gut when you walk into a workplace. If it feels overwhelming in the interview, imagine living in it for most of your waking hours, 5 days a week. And it's little wonder why a lot of us just hide from the world whenever we're off. And before we keep going, if you're trying to figure out what kind of work setup actually fits your brain, we made a free work preference organizer. It's a simple way to map out what you want and don't want in your work. Head to the link in the description to grab it. 3. Support. A good boss or mentor can make or break your experience. A good boss can literally change your life. A bad one? Well, That'll lead to anxiety, baldness, and a VIP pass to the nearest diarrhea stall. And your guess is as good as mine when the autistic burnout will hit, or the diarrhea. Some workplaces are better at others at supporting neurodivergent employees. A mentor, a boss who understands autism, or at least listens when you explain your experience, or just someone who doesn't make you feel like a constant problem. That person can be the difference between staying in a job for years or quitting in 6 months, or 6 weeks, or maybe even 6 seconds. Autistic people are great at spotting inefficiencies, coming up with better systems, and most importantly, being honest about it, which unfortunately some workplaces don't appreciate. So if your job or boss values things like clear, direct communication and real work output rather than just looking busy, improving systems instead of clinging to, this is how we've always done it, actually listening to employees instead of holding a meeting about a meeting, then congrats. You might have found a workplace that might not send you into the coldest and darkest corner of your nearest diarrhea stall. 4. Structure. Predictability versus spontaneity. What kind of work environment actually fits your brain? Do you love routines, clear expectations, and knowing exactly what's coming? Or do you need variety, spontaneity, and changing tasks to stay engaged? I'm looking at you, ADHDers. And what if you like some of both, based on the day or the context? Hello, AUDHDers. I'm there with you. Some jobs are structured and predictable. Think accounting, library work, mail carriers. Others are fast-paced and constantly changing, like journalists, emergency responders, and event planners. And a lot fits somewhere in the middle. The problem? A job might sound good on paper, but if the work style doesn't match your brain, it's going to drain you fast. For example, teaching. I've been in education for decades, and it's a great profession in many ways, especially if you love helping people or working with kids who are equal part awesome, creative, and full of boogers. There's routine and predictability, like structured bell schedules, similar cycles each year with curriculum goals and holidays, and usually a space you can control quite a bit, your classroom. But then, add in lots of sensory stimuli, constant social interaction, unpredictable daily chaos, and several unplanned trips to the nearest diarrhea stall. The trick for many of us is finding a job with structure, but just enough variety to keep your brain engaged. So think about your ideal rhythm and flow. Consider what you're looking for right now and how to find it. 5. Your needs will change, and that's okay. A job that's perfect for you right now might not work in 5 years, and that's normal, especially when you're neurodivergent. Maybe you start out thriving in a fast-paced environment, but realize over time that you need more stability. Or maybe you need a better balance of independent work time and social interactions. Maybe random interruptions have just gotten out of hand. And if you see one more unread email in your inbox after you just spent the last 45 minutes clearing it, you're gonna break something expensive. Or maybe you have a job in a field that you're really passionate about and you want to stay in that field, but the way you've been doing it isn't working. Your needs will shift, whether that's due to burnout, life circumstances, or just feeling like what you're doing isn't quite right. Instead of thinking about your career as being something you're locked into for life, see it as a starting point for setting yourself up for a life that works for you. One where you can still have energy at the end of the week. The best thing you can do is stay aware of what's working and what's not, so you can pivot when needed. And while you're doing this, you might be setting yourself for something many autistic people crave: becoming your own boss. Finding the right job isn't about what you do. It's about how the job fits your brain. The right schedule, environment, support system, and structure can make the difference between loving your work and barely surviving it. And if you found this helpful, stick around. There's plenty more where this came from. But this is how we've always done it. This is how we've always done it. But this is how we've always done it!